Thank you. Oh, it's good to have you. Welcome to our City Council work session tonight. It's Tuesday, February 18th and 5:30 p.m. We'll dispense with the roll call. All the council is here and the mayor, and we'll move on. Would somebody like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight?
I'll do the pledge if you want me to, Mayor.
Okay.
Please repeat the pledge with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Would someone like to give us an inspirational thought or an invocation?
I'd like to share something that I observed this week in the news. Most of you are probably aware of the plane that went into Toronto upside down. As the passengers on the plane relate what happened, it was amazing how many people helped one another. Nobody was me first. They were helping people get unbuckled. You know, they're hanging like bats from the ceiling. It was just good to see everybody in that situation, as panicky as they were, to come together and work together and help each other. And what a miracle that nobody died.
I didn't see that till tonight. That was the first I watched. They showed the thing. And I thought, how did that flip over? Well, it just rolled over.
Well, a wing broke off, and I think it was crosswinds.
Fast. It broke the landing gear, and then the wind just caught one wing and put it up.
Now, I love your thought. They look like a bunch of bats hanging upside down.
That's actually what some of the passengers were saying.
Really?
That was a quote in an article.
I heard there were only 2 people that were hurt very bad, but
Everybody but
that's
two.
amazing.
Everybody but 2 have been released from the hospital.
I think that's good. It's
But-
good to hear that.
What pleased me was just how everybody worked together to help one another.
Yep.
I know. I like that. Thank you, Art. Appreciate it. We'll move right into our discussion items. So, Republic Services Annual Report.
Yeah, so Mayor and Council, we have Republic Services Representative Mark Sherwood here with us, and he'll kind of present things and have some discussion, and I'll move the slides when he tells me to, so.
Okay, perfect. So thank you. Everyone remembers Reese would come down and do these. So I talked to him the other day. He says hi to everybody. It's nice to come down and give the report this year. So why don't we start with the first slide and just sometimes we're so into just our own city that to step back and look at like what Republic does in Utah County, and specifically the south end of Utah County. Obviously, you're right in the center of that with Mapleton and Payson and Elk Ridge and Spanish Fork and Salem, which are all Republic cities, and that obviously gives us an opportunity to help each other out on routes and kind of economies of scale that you wouldn't get otherwise. Next slide. Yeah. And if you have a questions, just feel free to interrupt here as we go. This is the service team for Santaquin. We did almost 400,000 carts last year, which is kind of interesting when you like every week you're doing this, and those numbers get pretty big at the end of the year. We are sponsoring again Orchard Days. Looking forward to that. Anything else in the community that we want to get involved with? Is there anything? Orchard Days is the big one, but are we going to do something fun with the library or?
Yeah, we were going to ask you for $1 million. Are you able to find that?
Sure. We'll just dig through the recycling. We'll just, all those cans, those pennies add up. So.
You bring that up. Mm-hmm. I would love to talk with you about that. I'm dead serious. Yeah. We would appreciate a good discussion. Mm-hmm. There's still things we're doing afoot, but we're getting closer.
Yeah.
And any help from Republic especially would be welcomed.
Yeah. We definitely want to support the communities we service. So
Yeah.
as we get closer, let me know.
Thank you.
Okay, so the garbage and recycling, you can see the volumes by tons for the year. Last year. And this is interesting. The added homes, 292. And from speaking with Norm, it sounds like that number will be even bigger next year. Is that kind of on track for adding homes? So that kind of leads to the next slide.
So just as a note on that, Mayor and Council, this number is not going to exactly track like building permits, for instance, because some of those are going to come online at different times over the next year. So if you're looking at that going, hey, we only had, I don't remember, 263, 268, then some of those were carried over and from the year before. So just recognize that it's fairly close, but it isn't going to be exact with the number of building permits because of the time frame.
Don't we have numbers that were reported on homes that are being built and sometimes not sold and lived in?
Right,
And,
right.
And so there's a little difference
Right.
there because we're not picking up from a few homes that are sitting there now
Right.
waiting.
Exactly. They will start picking that as people come in and sign up for utility accounts. That's when they'll start picking that up. So sorry about that, Mark.
Yeah, no, that's great. So as we kind of look at items to review, the top item for us, especially in Utah County, is the growth. So to the extent that you're going to continue to grow, and if there's some best practices, we'd love to share those with you as far as like permitting, as the density of the homes gets tighter, for example, and having the HOAs actually give enough room for our trucks so we're not backing up. Or maybe it makes sense to do a roll off instead of individual cans. Or another example would be having a 4-foot or a 6-foot chain link fence, so that garbage doesn't get blown away on some of these tight areas, and then it goes into the rest of the community. So to the extent that we can impact a little bit on the front end as far as with the growth and development. Just think, like, we never think of that, but I would just ask, it's kind of like we had one city, it was the fire marshal was actually asking me for help because with all the construction, they can't get their trucks in. They said, what do you do? I said, we have the same problem, right? So, some people are complaining because you got the construction trucks out there and their house is already built. So I don't know there's an answer for any of this, but just we're aware of it and we're in it with you. But I know you do get those calls from time to time, and some of it is just kind of growing pains, I think.
We do look at that. In fact, we are looking at something kind of like that along those lines right now that may come to the council at some point in the near future. But yeah, this is something that sometimes you learn the hard way, where after something happens, then you realize that it can be done a better way. So these are things that we are thinking about.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Jason. And then this is just industry update stuff that is maybe not specific even to Utah, but just want to give you a heads up on it. We can run through this real quickly. The recycling is interesting because the commodities spiked when China was buying everything from us. I mean, we would, if it was a plastic 1 through 7, they were taking it. And now with China soared, you can actually see on the next slide, I think, the spike, and now it's a lot more selective on recycling. So the commodities are not as valuable as they were.
What's China's sword?
So that's what they call when China said, "Hey, we're not going to just take all of your recycling," which they were. They were taking anything. You do remember that for a couple of years, and recycling was, we were giving rebates on recycling, and it was tonnage, and it was very indiscriminate. and so that's gone away, and it's a lot more selective for recycling. And so you can kind of see that over time that the value of the recycling deteriorates. That's just what that slide is showing.
When these prices go down because you're not able to sell them for what you're picking them up for, and we're paying some to offset these costs.
Yeah.
What happens with this? Are recycling items, if they're not being recycled, just being put in the dump?
Well, if they're recyclable, and that is a question, right? So if you have a pizza box that is a clean pizza box, it gets recycled. And I know that that's not exactly the question, but if it is recyclable, and I'll go ahead and follow up with what is recycle. That's just ongoing, right? And from being on the board over there, if it is recyclable, it goes to the MRF, the Material Recovery Facility, and it actually does get recycled. If it doesn't, if it's contaminated, and and folks are putting stuff in there that's not recyclable, then that contaminates the load, right? And there is a certain percentage, anywhere between 15 and, in some areas as high as 35% contamination, and then that doesn't get recycled.
One thing you don't take is glass, and yet the only place my wife will take glass is all the way to Provo, to those things. How come we don't do glass in the recycle?
In a single stream, it doesn't work. I know they do have Momentum, and a couple others are glass only, but the glass in a landfill that's where it came from, right? Glass is sand in some respects, so not the worst thing to be disposing of.
When people get recycling cans, do they get a list of what's currently recyclable?
I don't know that we do. Send them like a little package that says, hey, this is what's recyclable. That's a great call out.
I think the schedule we put in the calendar does have a brief description of what can go in the box, or maybe it's what can't. But there is something there.
I think it's more what can't than.
Yeah.
But if you've got something like that we could put in our newsletter, we have a monthly newsletter that we could post on our website. Those types of things. We're happy if you've got just a simple list that we can put in there. That's something that we can provide to our residents so that they know.
Yeah, and it's top of mind. So to the point on our calendar it says, but when you first get that can, I don't know that we do that, but I will definitely add you to the list. We have seasonal ones, so like Final Four is coming up. Kansas is playing tonight, actually, and so we have a Final Four thing that says, okay, here's what's recyclable and here's not, and it's based around we're having you're hosting basketball, watch parties. Here's all the stuff that you shouldn't put in recycling. Here's all the stuff you should. So there are targeted recycling stuff that we'll add to Norm.
Our website does have a recycling do's and don'ts page.
Okay.
That explains it.
And we can also put those in like new move-in packets if we have enough of them, or if they're something that we want to do that with, we could put them in our new sign-up packages.
Yeah. And then Mayor, just to tie it off, the question that you asked at the beginning, the takeaway is there used to be more money in it, where we would sometimes even write checks back to the cities. That's gone away. So.
Yeah. It's kind of a subsidy anyway. It's not a money maker. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You ready to go, or you want to stay on this one, or where are we at?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
So just as a heads up, I know this doesn't make sense for us here at this point, but a couple of cities, a number of cities actually in Colorado and Boise, they electrified their fleets. So surprisingly, in a cold weather and even with some difficulty in terrain, they're actually doing quite well. So I don't know that is coming to Utah anytime soon, but just it's out there if you ever wanted to be a charter city, you know.
How about natural gas? Do you guys have natural gas trucks?
We got out of the natural gas business. We had a fleet of natural gas trucks, and it didn't work as well as we thought it was going to. So yeah, we are diesel at this point. Yeah. One of the things that we do have, and this is first in the country, is a polymer center. So this is in Las Vegas, and we have 3 more coming online. And it's 100% circularity. So I have a water bottle, a Dasani water bottle, and I end up at the polymer center, and then we turn those into flakes, and then we turn them back into water bottles. And so that's, you know, you talk about like a little bit subsidized, yeah, and yet everything that we can keep out of the landfill, and if we can use it again, and it's cost effective, you know, and where Coca-Cola is paying for that repurposing, that makes it cost effective. So there's still hope. Like, let's not abandon sustainability entirely, right? So, and if you're ever in Las Vegas on a conference or anything, and you want to take a tour down there, give me a heads up, and we'll see if we can get you into the facility. I'm sure there's nothing else in Las Vegas going on. So, you know, let's go over to the
Let's go to the garbage
Haul all
plant.
this chipped from Salt Lake to Vegas?
We have as far as close or as far away as Washington County is where we go right now. So we don't at this point. We take it to Murph in Salt Lake is where it ends up, and then it's not as. I mean, this is cutting edge, you know, for recycling, and we're not doing that with plastic coming out of Santaquin at this point. So, okay,
So that's all the slides.
all right.
But-
Well, I guess
But I do have
it's open forum here.
some thoughts as I've looked at things and kind of seen. I want to go back to the one of the first slides and just look at, if you look at it, you know, again, that pretty well tracks with our 5,000 plus homes that we have. Not every home has a can. Some of them have dumpsters, or they have other, you know, means of taking care of their garbage. But 375,000 carts, when he talks about carts, that's the roll off, right? That's the little cart that you put your garbage in and take to the street. That's a lot of carts in a year. Also, I wanted to point out just the sheer difference in tonnage from recycle to garbage, right? Recycle, as you look at that, that's a I don't know, what is that, a 2%, not 2 or 3% of what we use, what we send to them in our recycle is compared to what we send in garbage. So that was interesting to me. I don't know that it's really
Well, and it's interesting too. If we did volumes, it would be a little higher than
right. Mass volume, it's different. The size of the recycle is much bigger than the garbage, but still just interesting to me with the comparison there.
when you get the complaints. You know, our can got blown over, but you know, usually it's a wind issue or whatever. Recycling cans are the ones typically, you know, that are getting blown over because there's not as much weight.
So also when we started this, working with Republic some 5 years ago now, probably a little bit longer than that, because this is just the renewal of the contract. We've gone up quite a bit. This year we had about a 5% increase in volume. Last year we had about a 10% increase, and then the year before that, which was kind of the whole housing boom and going nuts with all the homes and all that kind of stuff, it was quite a big increase. So we appreciate Mark and Republic helping us to be able to handle that growth. That's something that I'm sure you're experiencing in other cities, which means more trucks, more drivers, more time on the road, more everything when you're just adding more garbage and more cans. So we appreciate the work that they do for us.
I do want to add in, I know you had shared some feedback. I actually live next to one of the people that drives. And he even said that he gets stuck a lot of times in certain areas because of the steepness of the road, and roundabouts sometimes are a little bit difficult with the snowy weather, which I don't know if we're looking at that. But that's a repeated problem for certain areas. And I just worry that as new developments come in, that then they're not going to be able to. And it doesn't just affect the people that live there, because then the driver is stuck that whole morning, and then it's stormy or windy and they don't get it, and the things blow over, and so it affects so many more people. I just hope we keep that in mind as we're allowing these developments, to make sure that they're not too steep, and that trucks could, pick up trash.
Don't you put auto chains on them?
Yeah, we chain up. There are times, when, it's icy or whatever, where we kind of err on the side of caution. But yeah, no, they're equipped with, it's Utah, so we know about that. And
They're just auto chains, though, aren't they? They're not. You don't stop and chain up. It's the little spinning arm that drops down by the wheels and turns the.
Okay. The mechanics part of that, I don't know. When we say chain up, I guess I will find out about if it's auto or if you get out.
Most bigger trucks that don't go.
Yeah, you're not getting out and putting your life in danger trying to chain up. But yeah. Yep. So good call out.
Also, with service, we've had pretty good service. We've had some times when even council members have contacted me and said, "Hey, this is going on," and we'll relay that to Republican. They're pretty good about going back and cleaning up a mess or doing, we don't go back and pick up every can that somebody missed if they don't have it out in time. But at the same time, we feel like we get a pretty good service for what's offered.
Well, we appreciate Santaquin for sure, and I won't be a stranger. We'll be back here next year, and I'll see you down in St. George for anyone that's going to be down there. So if you don't have anything else, then.
No, thank you very much.
Okay.
Tell
right.
Reese hello when you see him next.
I will. Yeah. Well, here's
He's
the
doing
funny.
chicken or something now, isn't he?
So he does. He's back in doing healthcare. So he.
Oh, is he?
Yep. So he's a VP of. It's like Granger, but it's not Granger. It's another one of those, and he opens up minute clinics, I guess they call them.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Take care. Thank you.
Appreciate it. What do you love about Santaquin 10-year celebration discussion?
So I think this is on the agenda just as a discussion. If you remember a few weeks ago, it was pointed out that it's been 10 years since this What Do You Love About Santaquin photo contest started. There was a suggestion about maybe doing something since it's 10 years. I just want to emphasize that you don't have to do anything for 10 years. But if you do, really I think this is on here just as a discussion that if you have ideas or if there's any suggestions that you have, then we'd be happy to do the work to do that. But again, it was an idea brought up that it's kind of an anniversary of a decade doing this photo contest. So we just look to you if you have any thoughts or if you have any strong opinions about if there's something you want to do or if there's nothing you want to do.
Some of it's already being branded. If you've noticed on the social media and on our website, some of it's already being branded as the 10-year anniversary. What do you love about Santaquin? So some of that's already out there. But any special events or anything like Jason's asked about, we've not planned or done anything on that yet. Or if you don't want us to, we won't.
What if we did just thinking out loud, maybe it's already been thought about. What if we took the pictures that have won the 10-year, because we do a winner for the year, right?
Uh-huh.
What if we took those 10 and we picked a winner from that group and we made a bigger portrait of that and hung it somewhere in City Hall as the 10-year winner? Because you'd only have one every 10 years that we
Right.
find a place in City Hall to hang that up.
Right, certainly. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Because that'd be a great honor for the person who took that photo.
Sure.
I guess we could do more prize money or something, but I think just the honor of having their photo hang in the city hall is a way to honor that.
Great.
Possibly during the city celebration, we can have a display of the 10 photos of the past 10 years and just let everybody
Yeah, we'll let the
see
city
the,
pick.
see the collection.
Yeah, I like that too. Let
It
the
might-
city pick that 10-year winner.
It might
through
make
the
sense to
celebration.
put that in. The museum has the art displays, and we could do that during Orchard Days or something. You know, I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't know if we really need to do anything really big, but I mean, showcasing, it kind of matches with the museum of showcasing Santaquin and having all those, like you're saying, available for people to see. Maybe they could vote on it there. I don't know.
Do we have the last 10 years?
Yeah, they're online.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have them. I have them for you right now.
They're on the website. You can look at them. Do we know if we're going to do another mural this year?
Yes,
Because I
we are.
wonder if we could just take either the winner or all 10 of them and kind of collage.
So we're actually doing a mural.
He's already got
I
the
think
idea.
it's in. Yeah, it's in April or May is when Kyle Vincent's going to be doing that in collaboration with Community Services. But that might be something, I don't know. They're still looking at whether to do it on like a private property or city property. But it might be something like you're saying, make a mural out of one of those. That
Or kind of like a collage or something of
Yeah.
all of them. I don't know.
yeah.
It's a good idea too.
I like the thought if we want to have the citizens vote on it.
I like that too.
That
Yeah.
just is
I do too.
And if
a good
I
way
know
to have it happen, I think.
if we did display them in the museum, we get a lot more traffic there during Orchard Days. I know a lot of people don't think about going over
Yeah.
there. That might help
Yeah.
get a little bit more attention to it.
They just laid new carpet too in the museum. So
And
in
it
that
doesn't
display
sink
room,
anymore. So
Okay. Any other thoughts?
So just to be clear, I'm hearing that you want all 10 years to be shown somewhere during
Actually-
Orchard Days in the museum, and then have some sort of a voting mechanism where people can vote on which one they like, and then from there we can decide what we want to do with that winner of the decade, if you will, whether it be blow it up and put it somewhere in City Hall or something related to mural. Is that what I?
You could probably put a little QR code on a sign and just have everybody that wanted to vote on it. And maybe the guy that took the pictures would do it 100 times. I don't know.
Therefore, you need to
I
limit
would.
the amount of votes per person.
Well, somebody might like their picture.
The guy or gal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing to think about. And I know we get a lot of tree pictures, but
We do.
lately people have been taking a lot of animal pictures that I really like. I just got a message tonight for a guy that's looking for the eagles that come through. And, those are beautiful. They rarely stop. And I've been watching owls for the last year, and there are some cool things. If people have pictures of those, that's a big deal. And I think it's a whole aspect to why we really do live in Santaquin. There are some cool things to see. And I still love that owl picture. That guy that took that's got to be
The
one
one
of
in the
my
tree?
favorites. The one that's in the
that's a
calendar.
good one.
Yep. So,
Great.
I think there's some good ideas. I think we ought to move ahead with something like that. Does everybody agree? I don't know that we need to vote on it. It's just let's move ahead.
We'll put some plans in motion and let you know where they're at.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Upcoming agenda.
Can I ask a question first before you do that?
Sure.
Back on the Republic Services, is this a contract renewal? Is that why we have this report?
There's not a contract renewal. A contract renewal will come up next year for a contract renewal.
Okay. I just
So
think
we're
we
in
need to
a-
look at that.
I think it was inked in 2021, if I remember. I'd have to go back and look, but my memory serves. It was inked in early 2021, and then would therefore come to us sometime in 2026
Okay.
to look at a renewal. And if the council's direction is to go out to RFP, then we can certainly go out to RFP and try and figure that out from there and figure out where we're at.
Well, I think it's been a while since we've done that, hasn't it? I think that's healthy. I'll just share my opinion right now.
Sure.
And it's no secret. I know a local contractor. I work for him, and I know that there can be a significant savings with that. But I also know the value in having a big company do it. But I think it's valuable for us to put it out there and see what kind of money we can save with having other companies bid on it.
Sure.
Because with these big companies, it's not a secret. They get contracts and they continually raise prices all the time.
Yeah, our contract is locked in. I think it's 3%, 2 or 3% annually is the locked in amount that they can increase. Now there's
Yeah, but they throw fuel and all kinds of
surcharges,
things in
but
there.
everybody's going to have fuel surcharges. They have that, and it's also written into the contract how much they can do, and we keep a pretty close eye on that as well.
But
So
they don't bring it back down when fuel comes down, do they?
I
They
have
never do that.
probably not.
Never.
Or is that from experience?
Yes.
Okay.
They do not do that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
again-
I just think it's valuable for the taxpayers' money that we look at that next time it comes up.
I agree.
We do an RFP and just see what's out there.
Sure.
Okay, to go along with that, I had a call this week from another company that would be interested in it. So maybe what you're saying is right. Get it out there, let people bid on it, and let's see if it changes it. You know, we need to save where we can. Money's a big deal. Yeah, no kidding. Okay, agenda items.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, if we go to the regular session, we'll have minutes from 4 meetings ago. I will point out that we do need to, I missed some of the slides that we need to put in the minutes for the budget planning meeting. And Councilmember De Rosario reminded me about that today. We'll put those in the next one. We have presentations from 3 of the directors that were given out and handed out. We did not get the slides in for the presentations on Friday and Saturday. We will add those and amend those minutes next meeting because it has some valuable information in there of the items that we went through. So we apologize for not getting those. That's completely my fault, but we'll get those in as we go to the next council meeting, and we'll get that cleaned up and get those on there. Any concerns or thoughts on meeting minutes? Anything that needs to be corrected or?
Just probably ought to do this in the regular meeting, but thank you so much for the work that was put into that. I know that's a ton of work for all the city staff that works
Yep.
to get that ready. That budget meeting is a big deal, and
It's-
it's important that we do that.
Yeah, it's like I said in the meeting, it's gargantuan. It is a month and a half of planning, and then another between now and the middle of July when we budget. It's that big of an effort, and it continues to go on for half the year. And then from there, we go to putting it all in and implementing it, and then start all over again with Groundhog Day next January. So. Expenditures for the period from the 31st to the 17th is $847,000. Any questions or concerns on those? Then we have a resolution for surplus property. Any question on that? Volunteer of the month will be Keela Gowdy. She does a great job with our museum and lots of other things in the city. And then one particular item on there for a cooperative wildfire system participation commitment statement. That's a mouthful. Essentially, this is a annual contract or agreement that we have with the state to help with fuel mitigation on the East Bench or anywhere in town, but specifically on this one on the East Bench. In times past, this has been able to be signed by the myself or the mayor or the fire chief, but the state has now required this to be done by resolution so that you're aware of it. There's no cost to us for this. There's actually a cost to us if we don't do the work that we're agreeing to. So, and I think it's $15,000 if I remember correctly. But so essentially what that's saying is we get $15,000 worth of credit annually by going up and doing fuel mitigation efforts on the East Bench to help with fire breaks and other things to make it so that if we do have a fire, it hopefully doesn't get too far. And then lastly, we will have need of a closed session at the end of the meeting. Happy to answer any questions that you have on that, on any of the items.
We do have a citizen that intends on being here for public forum. He may be a little late because of a work obligation, but Kevin Marchant wants to come in and make a presentation.
Great.
We'll just work around it.
Okay.
Make sure he's taken care of. It's no problem.
Okay.
Is that it?
So,
Any other things anybody wants to talk about, bring up, rehash? Okay, we got 56 minutes of pure magic. So I'd like to have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Brian?
Aye.
Art?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Lynn?
aye.
Travis?
Aye.